Okay, here's two questions that deal with transformations. So the idea is that I have a graph of f of x, and the graph has some kind of shape to it. I don't know what the shape is. But then they say, let's take g of x and let's transform that graph. So we're going to take f of x and we're going to do that to it, and then we're going to do this to it. So here's two transformations that I have to do for that graph. Now, in the question, they say, well, you don't have to do the whole graph, just do one point. So this is the point that they want you to transform. So let's look at what the transformations are. So f of x, the point is 819, and I want to know what g of x is. It's got to be some point 2. So this 8's going to change maybe, and this 19 might change. Depends on if there's x transformations or y transformations. So let's see what they are. So here's one that's inside the brackets. So that position is the C position, and that affects x things. And since it's a -1, it tells me the graph has to move to the right 1. So if my point is at 8, that's my x value, and if I have to move to the right 1, then the 8 is going to change to, if I go right 1, it'll change to a 9. Right? So if my x is here and it's at 8, if I have to go to the right 1, it would be 9. Okay, that takes care of that transformation. Now let's do this. That is in the D spot, and D is a vertical movement, so up or down. And this one here would go up 3. So if I'm at 19, and I have to go up 3 from that, that would put me at 22. Okay, hopefully that helps you that question. So this point here would be on my g of x graph, whereas this one is on the f of x. And the transformation or the change that has happened, it results from that and that. Now the next question, the same kind of thing, it's just you have to do it with all these points. So you have to do it to this point, this one, and this one. Okay, so let's see what the transformations are. So when I look at this, I always look at what's inside. I'm looking at B and C first. There's no B or C in the brackets there, so there's no changes to x, really. Let me see. Yeah, there's no changes to x at all. So B and C that affect x, there's no changes. So my points have to be, the x values have to stay at -6, at -3, etc. But the y changes, and it looks like there's two changes to the y. There's this change and this change. Since this one is being multiplied, I'll worry about that first. So what I need to do is I need to take all my y values and multiply them by -1/2. Okay, then I need to take that y value, and over here, since this is a d value, I need to move things up by 2. Okay, so let's try it with this first point. So I'm at -60, that's where it should be, and they say multiply the y value by -1/2. Well, the y value is, -6 and 0. If the y value is 0, if I multiply that by -1/2, it stays at 0. So that doesn't change. But then I have to move things up by 2. So if it's at 0 and I move up 2, it's going to wind up right there. So this point here is transformed into that point. I'll do one or two more for you. So let's look at this one. So -3, 4. So it starts right here, and I have to figure out what happens to it. So the point, -3, 4. So the 4, it's a -4. Yeah, -3, -4. The -4, I first have to multiply it by -1/2. So take -4 times it by -1/2. That gives me a +2. And then I have to move it up 2. So if I'm at 2 and move up another 2, it'll be at a +4. Again, the x value doesn't change. So it'd be -3 and +4. That's the next point. Let's do this last point right there. So it starts here at 0, 0. That's the x value. or the initial point. Again, x doesn't change, so the x value will still stay at 0. It's just this y value. I multiply it first by -1/2. -1/2 times 0 is 0. And then I move it up 2, it'll be +2. So my point will be 0 and +2. In the other answer key, you'll see that I did this kind of thing for each one of the 5 points. Anyway, with this one, my next point is 0, 2. That's that one right there. I can join the points. These last ones you could figure out too. Hopefully that helps you figure out those 2 questions.